The comparison between Hegel's phenomenology of spirit and Husserl's transcendental phenomenology has long been obscured by the assumption that the two thinkers inhabit incommensurable worlds. Hegel, the grand system builder of absolute idealism, and Husserl, the rigorous analyst of consciousness who sought to free philosophy from metaphysics. Yet when one examines the structural ambitions of their projects, a surprising convergence emerges. Both attempt to return to the things themselves, both seek a genesis of sense, and both treat language as the medium in which meaning becomes thinkable. Their divergence lies not in method alone, but in their respective conceptions of infinity, completion, and the very possibility of a final grounding of knowledge. Hegel's phenomenology presents itself as the science of the experience of consciousness, a developmental narrative in which natural consciousness passes through successive shapes of knowing until it arrives at absolute knowledge, the standpoint of the absolute mind that recognizes itself in all its alienations. Husserl's phenomenology begins with a very different ambition: to establish a rigorous science of pure consciousness, grounded in the analysis of intentional acts and the ideal meanings constituted within them. Yet even here, the distance is not as great as it seems. Husserl's later writings, especially those concerned with history, teleology, and the life world, bear what Derrida calls an unmistakable Hegelian imprint. Both thinkers, in their own ways, attempt to articulate a logic of sense that precedes empirical knowledge and grounds it. Jean Hippolyte was among the first to notice that Hegel's speculative philosophy performs something akin to a reduction. The movement of consciousness in the phenomenology brackets the immediacy of empirical life in order to reveal the structures that make experience intelligible. This is not the Husserlian epoche, but it is close enough that the comparison becomes unavoidable. Both thinkers suspend the naive acceptance of the world in order to return to the conditions of its appearing. Both seek the genesis of meaning, the point at which the logos differentiates itself from the flux of empirical life. And both recognize that language is not an external tool, but the very ether in which thought moves. Meaning is not prior to language, it is generated within it. Even Husserl's intersubjectivity, often presented as a corrective to solipsistic tendencies in transcendental philosophy, resonates with Hegel's conception of spirit. The community of monads that constitute one another's sense worlds is not far removed from the community of spirit that recognizes itself in its own self-othering. The difference is one of emphasis. Husserl remains within the transcendental sphere, while Hegel moves toward an ontological and historical totality. Yet the divergences between the two systems are decisive. They concern not merely method, but the fate of infinity and the possibility of completion. Husserl's phenomenology is characterized by what commentators call open immanence. Knowledge is an infinite task, an unending clarification of the structures of intentionality. The horizon of meaning recedes as one approaches it. The idea, in the Kantian sense, regulates inquiry but is never given in intuition. Hegel, by contrast, thinks positive infinity. The movement of spirit is not an endless asymptotic approach to truth, but a self-differentiation that returns to itself. The system is closed not because it excludes the new, but because it incorporates every difference into the self-mediation of the absolute. Where Husserl sees an infinite task, Hegel sees an accomplished circle. This difference in infinity reveals a deeper divergence in their conceptions of immanence. Husserl's immanence is open, always underway, always provisional. Hegel's immanence is closed, complete, self-knowing. Husserl remains Kantian in his refusal to allow the ideal to appear as such. Hegel is more radical. He insists that the ideal must appear, that the absolute must become manifest in and through the finite. Derrida captures this contrast with precision. Husserl's idea is regulative. Hegel's is constitutive. The methodological consequences are profound. Husserl and Kant are often grouped together because both focus on the intentionality of consciousness, the directedness of acts toward meanings. Hegel, by contrast, is said to synthesize subject and object without penetrating into the roots of subjective acts in the same way. Yet this criticism misunderstands Hegel's ambition. He is not concerned with the analysis of acts, but with the historical and logical becoming of meaning itself. His phenomenology is not a psychology of consciousness, but a metaphysics of sense. Derrida's early writings complicate the picture further. He argues that Husserl's later historical works fall prey to a form of panlogicism that resembles Hegel's absolute idealism. Husserl's attempt to ground history in the transcendental subject leads him toward an ontology of meaning that mirrors Hegel's movement from phenomenology to logic. Derrida suggests that Husserlian phenomenology must really coincide with ontology, a claim that places Husserl closer to Hegel than either would have admitted. The transcendental reduction, when applied to history, becomes a logic of sense that cannot remain merely transcendental. It becomes ontological. The convergence between Hegel and Husserl is therefore not accidental. Both seek a grounding of meaning that precedes empirical knowledge. Both treat language as the medium of sense. Both attempt to articulate the genesis of meaning, but their divergence is equally essential. Husserl refuses the closure that Hegel embraces. Hegel refuses the infinite postponement that Husserl accepts. Husserl's phenomenology is an infinite task. Hegel's is a completed circle. Husserl's idea is a horizon. Hegel's is a presence. Husserl's immanence is open. Hegel's is absolute. The relationship between the two phenomenologies is therefore best understood not as opposition, but as a dialectical tension. Husserl reveals the depth of intentional life. Hegel reveals the historical and logical becoming of meaning. Husserl preserves the infinite. Hegel completes it. Husserl brackets the world. Hegel sublates it. Each system illuminates what the other obscures. And in their convergence and divergence, they reveal the enduring question that phenomenology must confront, whether meaning is an infinite task or a completed whole, a horizon or a circle, an open field or an absolute.